All right, everyone. Welcome to For Crying Out Loud. I think this is already the 11th edition. Bluesy beats, miserable melodies, and lyrics that tear your heart apart. And today is a very important day because for the first time in the history of this show, I have my teacher here. For, I guess, almost 4 years now, the bachelor and the master's, arts, culture, media, and music, theater, and performance studies. And so, yeah, there's a lot of knowledge here, probably in the studio, but I'm mostly wondering what your taste is actually like. So, yeah, come on to the mic.
You're going to get a real taste of it today. It's always a threatening thing to reveal to your students what you actually really like. I try in my classes never to impose my taste on anyone else, but today, you asked me for tearjerkers, and I thought I gotta dig deep and get autobiographical here. So, this is all music I love very deeply.
Yeah, and I've listened to the playlist, and I also love all of the songs. And the first one is Xiu.
Shoo Shoo.
Shoo Shoo.
Yeah.
Okay, well. What can you tell us about Shoo Shoo?
Oh, when you asked me to make a tearjerker playlist, this is absolutely the first band and the first song that came to mind. This is a singer whose way of vocalizing is devastatingly beautiful and very distinct and very diverse. And the lyrics of this song that I chose are
shocking.
It's very rare that a set of lyrics makes me completely breathless in the way that this does. So it's a song about desire and a song about being willing to put up with the ultimate humiliation for the kind of desire that gets socialized within us. And there's nothing sadder than that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's true. That's also what I wrote down because it could have had a shock effect, but he makes it sound like touching even.
Yeah,
which is really special because the lyrics. Well, you're going to hear it. They're quite shocking, and it's a mix of love, sex, death. It's like everything is in here. I feel. So let's listen to it. It's Xiu Xiu with Fabulous Muscles.
Break my face and it was the kindest touch you ever gave. Wrap my dreams around your thighs and drape my hope upon the chance to touch your arm. Fabulous muscles, cremate me after you come on my lips. Honey boy, place my ashes in a vase beneath your workout bench. Sexiness, but a star-filled night. Kneeling down before the now familiar flesh of your deformed penis. Wigging out before the unfamiliar flash of my broken neck. Fabulous muscles, cremate me after you come on my lips. Honey boy, place my ashes in a vase beneath your workout bench. Fabulous muscles, cremate me after you come on my lips. Honey boy, place my ashes in a vase beneath your workout bench.
Beautiful, beautiful, fabulous muscles from the album Fabulous Muscles, 2004. And yeah, as usual, I'm finding a song for every song that my guest brings. And as a accompanying song, I chose "On Falling" by Stina Nordenstam. It's also from 2004. It's also a bit singer-songwriter, but there's a beat to it, a jazzy beat. And the lyrics are actually quite clear. Let me see. I wrote something down. All of us are going down. Even the brave are falling. It's not alright. Just try to ignore it. Get used to the feeling. This is "On Falling" by Stina Nordenstam.
I wish you're falling.
on Falling, and we're going back to one of your songs, Anthony and the Johnsons with Hope There's Someone. What can you tell us about this song?
Yeah, the list that I made for you is in the order that songs first came to me in my mind. It's a pretty organic list that just kind of emerged from me, and so when I'm thinking about a tearjerker, this song comes to me. It's just about not wanting to be alone, right? And it's
Yeah.
another singer whose voice is utterly unique. Anthony sings in this falsetto that's just devastatingly beautiful and really simple. I think it would sort of qualify as a kind of classic tearjerker. Later on in the
Yeah.
playlist, I'll maybe challenge the notion of what a tearjerker might be, but not with this one. This is just really super classic. I don't want to be alone. I'm sad.
Yeah.
That
I hope there's
I want
someone.
I want someone
Yeah.
to hold me when I'm dying. And
Yeah, I actually wrote down that the lyrics on first glance look simple, looking for companionship. However, in context of the album, with recurring themes of like depression and gender dysphoria and self-acceptance, it also becomes like a lot sadder, actually.
And you could read different meanings into the song if you know more about Anthony's
Yeah.
background. And but there's some really straight up strange lyrics in the song too. I mean,
Yeah.
this is one of the few songs I know that has the word watershed in it. Right, the Seals.
I don't know any
watershed.
other
And
song that has that.
No, yeah, but being Canadian, that watershed imagery really resonates with me. Right, the watershed was close to where I grew up. Right, the space where the water goes in the other direction, which is a really beautiful metaphor for like transformation and probably the transition into death, actually.
Yeah. All right, let's listen to it. This is Hope There's Someone from the album I Am a Bird now.
Hope there's someone who'll take care of me when I die. Will I go? Hope there's someone who'll set my heart free, nice to hold when I'm tired. There's a ghost on the horizon when I go to bed. How can I fall asleep at night? How will I raise my head? Oh, I'm scared of the middle place between life and nowhere. I don't want to be the one left in there, left in there. There's a man on the horizon, wish that I go to bed. If I fall to his feet tonight, will he rest my head? So he's hoping I will not drown or paralyze in life. And God saying I don't want to go to the seas watershed. Hope there's someone who'll take care of me when I die. Will I go? Oh, let someone who set my heart free, none's to hold it when I'm tired.
right, beautiful. Anthony and the Johnsons with Hope There's Someone. And as an accompanying song, I chose a song from 2010, also a bit chamber poppy, chamber folk actually. It's Joanna Newsom with Baby Birch, and I think more people need to hear Joanna Newsom, but she's not on Spotify, so that's. I think maybe you know the song Baby Birch.
I don't know this song, but I do know Joanna Newsom's stuff, and I've had a lot of students write about her work over the years. One of the little factoids I know about Joanna Newsom is she's a big fan of Van Dyke Parks, and I think has done some work with Van Dyke Parks. And if you don't know who Van Dyke Parks is, you should, because you were in one of my classes where I lectured about him a little bit. But it may not be so memorable. But another really interesting songwriter, and thinking about like Americana and American folk music and the connection between Joanna Newsom and Van Dyke Parks is, I think, an interesting rabbit hole to go down. And in fact, Van Dyke Parks writes about like mythological American figures like Brer Rabbit and things like that. So rabbit hole is the perfect term for that. But it's interesting to see her connections in the music that's inspired her, and of course another really fascinating voice.
Yeah. And I think like a few years ago, before Spotify, she actually like sold quite some records. But now that she's not on Spotify, I think she's listened to less, because it's just the main platform that people listen to. So I guess.
And your playlist, making me do it on Spotify, was like my first real engagement with Spotify. I really tried to resist it.
Really?
So
Yeah. You could have just given me like a text.
I'm a Bandcamp $9.99 kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I also download all of my stuff. But yeah, this song is Baby Birch. This is also a really sad song. It's almost definitely about Joanna Newsom lost child. We don't know whether it was a miscarriage or an aborted pregnancy, but what is clear is that she's mourning over the loss of her child. And she's reminiscing the good times that she's had with the baby inside of her. She's imagining the unborn child's physical attributes. So like... he or she has blonde hair or blue eyes, that kind of stuff. She exhibits, actually unconditional maternal love, but the child has never been born, and it's really sad. So this is Baby Birch.
This is the song for baby bird. Oh, I will never know you. And at the back of what we've done, there is the knowledge of you. Well, I wish we could take every path, could spend 100 years adoring you. Yes, I wish we could take every path, 'cause you know I hated to close the door on you. Do you remember staring up at the stars? be at peace, baby, and be gone.
While the harp is fading out, we're going to talk about the new song coming back soon from Crash Test Dummies. I've never heard of this. I read somewhere, and I just have to say, it's, if the thought of a banjo solo doesn't turn you green, this album shouldn't scare you.
Do you know the band?
Yeah, I've heard of the name, but no, I've never really listened to it.
They were quite popular globally. They're a Canadian band, so I'm trying to bring some of my home country into this. And this album really broke through in Canada. It has a kind of Celtic pop feel. And the next album had a kind of more mainstream pop feel, and it did really well in the United States, really broke them really large. And they seemed to go kind of nuts after that. They couldn't follow up on the success of their second album. And so they ended up doing some really beautiful experimental work. They have an entire concept album on masturbation called Give Yourself a Hand, which was their fourth album, which lost them a lot of the more mainstream listeners that they had from these first two albums. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the lead singer has this incredibly low voice, and the album is sort of like funk mixed with toy pianos and things like that.
God.
So it's a really bizarre album. So the sound of this band changes from album to album in a really radical way that I really respect. I saw them here, actually. I saw they were here in the Netherlands for 2 nights in the fall, and I saw them both in Utrecht and Groningen. And at one point in the show, they yelled out, "We're going to play a song now from our fourth album. Does anyone know our fourth album?" And I was the only person in the crowd that was cheering for the fourth album. But this is a track from their first album where they were young, innocent philosophy students just creating their debut. And it really is an upbeat, happy-sounding song.
Yeah, I was just saying, it sounds like a love song, just a simple love song, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a love song, but it's a love song where the love is not being reciprocated, which it is the tearjerker concept.
Yeah,
here,
in the end, I think she's not coming back. Right?
She's not. She's definitely not coming back. No,
No.
absolutely. And it's about someone that will kind of go to extremes to kind of please a partner that's not reciprocating.
Yeah. Well, then it's a great sad song. Yeah.
Yeah, and with a killer banjo solo.
All right.
I've all my wisdom teeth, two up top, two beneath, and yet I recognize my mouth says things that aren't so wise. But when I sing my darling's praise, I know I'm right or close in ways. But she's a gem upon this earth. I know to me she will return. Oh, I know it's true. I know it's true that I was made for her and she me too. And I'm confident that she'll think so too. And she'll be come back soon. table, she glares right back at me. And when I'm getting low on jam, I give her the last spoonful, that's just the way I am. And I drive to work each day, even though it's early and work is far away. And I don't even say a thing when she plays the radio so loud you cannot think. Because I know it's true, I know it's true, that I was made for her and she me too. And I'm confident that she'll think so too, and she'll be coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back soon. I can't stand the goddamn friends, but I will tolerate them, even though I hate them. I put up with her parents. She says I might never meet someone who is so kind and sweet ever again. Made for her and she me too, and I'm confident that she'll think so too, and she'll be coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back soon. I'm on my wisdom teeth, two up top, two beneath, and yet I'll recognize my mouth says things that aren't so wise. When I sing my darling's praise, I know I'm right, up close and ways. She's a gem upon this earth. Well, I know to me she will return. Oh, I know it's true, I know it's true, that I was made for her and she me too. And I'm pretty sure that she'll think so too. She'll be coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back soon. Yeah, she'll be coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back soon.
Coming back soon. The Bereft Man song. Wow. All right. Where the previous track was a bit more upbeat, I'm taking it down again with this slow burner by Red House Painters. It's called Drop. It's from their 1995 album Ocean Beach, and it's about the singer's inability to reciprocate love. A long song with a somber atmosphere. The Red House Painters were prominent artists of the slowcore genre, and yeah, slowcore speaks for itself. This is a long, slow song. And by the way, there's also a bit of silence just before the outro starts, so don't turn off the radio. It's part of the song. This is Red House Painters with Drop.
So much that I can say to you. My voice shakes from the hurt that I hide. Ashamed of my existence and of my petty, often wounded pride. I'd like to come home to see you and to catch your sickness by the bedside. But then you know how much I really need you. All the love in an instant makes my life stop. But then my hate for you makes my feelings all together dry. And all the love in an instant makes my life stop. But then my hate for you makes my feelings all together dry. Only I were blind to your selfish fling and your desperate cause, and didn't press you for the details that threaten my physical flaws. I'd like to come home to see you and embrace your illness under soft light. But then you know how much I really need you. All the love in an instant makes my life stop. But then my hate for you makes my feelings all together dry. And all the love in an instant makes my life stop. But then my hate for you makes my feelings all together dry. So much that I can say to you with affection that I burn inside. You're aching from the distance of avoiding strength that's running still alive. If only I could heal you in the sprinkling of the ocean side. Then you know how much I really love you. All the love in an instant makes my life stop. Then my hate for you makes my feelings all together dry. And all the love in an instant makes my life stop. But then my hate for you makes my feelings all together dry.
A little silence just before the outro starts. I think we hear a few birds, we hear the rain. It's raining outside, which is great for a radio show about crying. And yeah, everyone is looking at me here in the studio. And I think now the guitar comes back. drop by the Red House Painters. And from the Red House Painters, we go to Ben Harper, Roses for My Friends, from The Will to Live from 1997. Do I have to talk more, and so you can finish your cookie, or?
That's good. I'll save the other half
Yeah.
after the speaking portion.
But yeah, I thought I read somewhere that it opens with 16 layered guitars. Is that true?
Yeah, I was kind of listening to the playlist last night in preparation for this and going, okay, this is a nice sort of musicological moment to point out. So I'm glad you beat me to the punch, right? That if you listen, there's all of these pick slides and things like that in the texture, which is really unique.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's nice to listen to the texture here, but of course that itself, I don't think contributes to the tearjerker energy. Maybe it actually conflicts with it to some extent, but there's also these kind of atmospheric elements in the song too, and it maybe I'm following yours because there's also a kind of structural coda at the end that's a kind of different sound world. But it's a breakup song, so this is classic.
It's a breakup
tearjerker.
song, definitely. Yeah, and I also backwards guitars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's
definitely. Yeah.
Keyboard outro. Yeah, and the stories from my enemies, these wounds will mend, but I cannot survive the roses for my friends. I thought that was an amazing lyric.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
let's go. Roses from My Friends. Yeah, I chose a song from 2001, Lucinda Williams, Lonely Girls from the album Essence. It's actually a bit different than the rest of the album. It's a soulful tune that, for the most part, just repeats this two-word phrase, Lonely Girls. It's delicate and it's immersive. It's almost hypnotizing. It's unadorned longing. This is Lonely Girls. Lonely Girls by Lucinda Williams. Chocolate Genius, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chocolate Genius is the next artist. It's called My Mom. I think it's about dementia, right? This song.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. So following up on your Joanna Newsom with a couple of songs, the next couple that I chose were about parent-child relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that we're actually sort of hanging out and talking through the songs. I mean, I look forward to listening back to the
Yeah.
whole show later. But if we were actually listening closely to the song, this would be the one that might actually make me cry. This is like an honest to God,
Yeah.
like very touching song. And if anyone out there does end up weeping, let us know.
I mean,
it
it's
really
not-
works on you the way it works on
I
me.
know it's like a sad radio show, but it's not my intention to make people cry. But
There's nothing wrong with a good cry.
no,
It's
that's
therapeutic.
true. Yeah, but yeah, my mom. Yeah,
Yeah, but about losing someone to dementia and coping with that. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful artist. This album has a lot of the kind of downtown New York free improvisers on it, so a kind of experimental approach to creating the textures on this album. But they're playing restrained. They're serving the song. It's a really beautiful record. The whole record right through.
it's also the coming back to your old house, to your home,
Yeah.
and then your mother doesn't recognize you. It's really, it's really very sad. This is My Mom.
They got 5 televisions in a house full of 3. Look up on that fake fireplace, you know the buck-toothed boy is me. See that wood panel room, that's where I learned to drink. You see that hole in the wall, that was Seagram's, I think. And that tree was a goalpost, that bathroom, it was a shroud, that closet, it was a phone booth, and that mirror, it was a crowd. See that guy with the bad knees and his heart on his sleeve, watch him slip me $10 when it comes time to leave. It's been 5 years and some change, and this world is getting so strange. But this house smells just the same, and my mom, my sweet mom, she don't remember my name. My mom, she can't remember my name. My mom, I sit on a bed and I kiss her right behind the ear. She calls out for a dog that's been dead for a year. I say, how is it going? Just like I didn't know. I hold on to both of her hands, I'm too afraid to let go. And 5 times exactly, no more and no less, she says, how you been eating, boy? And I say, okay, I guess. In this room where she made me, each day she grows weak. She flips on the Golden Girls, and the first tear hits my cheek. It's been 5 years and some change, and this world is getting so strange. But this old house, it smells just the same. And my my sweet mom. She don't remember my name. My mom can't remember my name. She's my mom now. She can't remember my name. My mom can't remember my name. My mom.
My mom. I think we all. And there's still an outro. Should have listened to the songs better. But yeah, we listened to the song, and I think we managed to not cry. Like, right? Yeah. Yeah. As an accompanying song, I chose Richard Hawley, an artist that I mostly know later work from. But this one's called "Can You Hear the Rain, Love?" from his album Late Night Final from 2001. Yeah, you can hear the silver drizzle on this track while Holly sings with a whisper and fragile vibrato. Here comes another tear for the silence in me, and as its darkness clears, I wake you gently singing. Can you hear the rain, love? The music is not in a hurry either. It's a heartbreaking song. This is Can You Hear the Rain, Love? actually raining? Yeah, a bit. And from this we go to Nick Cave, also one of my favorite artists, so that's great. Distant Sky. This is actually one of the harder to listen to albums from him. So yeah, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I felt a little bad including this on the playlist. I thought it might be one of the more obvious choices. Although I was happy to see when I perused your total playlist of all the different episodes that no one chose this album. Although I think there was some other Nick Cave on the playlist. But for me, I mean, if I'm thinking about tearjerkers, the way he lost his son, and the way that framed this album. Is just utterly devastating, and also the film One More Time with Feeling, the documentary, the way they use this song as the culmination of that film just really stays with me. So when I was putting together this list, I couldn't not put this on.
Yeah, I was thinking, what is this song? I read somewhere that it was actually written before his son died, but it was included later in the album, or. Because the whole album is, of course, about the death of his son. But yeah.
Yeah. I read the same thing, that parts of the album that were written not specifically about this then became reframed. But this is, I'll get a little musicological here for a minute, philosophical. This is the truth of all reception of all art, right?
Yeah.
That we always reframe how we're interpreting it based on the conditions in which it moves to, right? When art moves across geography, when it moves across time, it's always going to reinvent itself. So, yeah, this is an extreme example of that, of course. But
and another thing is that it's, I think, the first time. On his Murder Ballads album, there were a few other vocalists, but this is actually the first time he invited someone else in a very, very long time. I think that's it has to be like a purposeful decision that he made. Maybe he couldn't, I don't know, maybe he couldn't sing the line himself, or he just thought maybe she could sing it better, but yeah.
It seems that she treated it as a lullaby. I think there's some discourse about how she didn't really know what it meant.
Oh, really?
When she was singing it, but it captures the right mood, of course. So.
Yeah, it's "Distant Sky" by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Let us go now. My one true love. Call the gas man. Cut the power out. And we can set out. We can set out for the distant skies. Watch the sun, watch it rising in your eyes.
our gods would outlive us. They told us our dreams would outlive us. They told us our gods would outlive us. But they lied.
Let us go now, my only companion. Set out for the distant sky. Soon the children will be rising. Will be rising. This is not for our eyes.
Nick Cave, Distant Sky, about his son who fell from a cliff. It's really, really sad. And now we're going to Emma Ruth Rundle with Protection from her album Marked for Death 2016. On this album, she brings the dark climactic rocker Protection. About the album, she says, the subject matter is largely about being defeated and shrunken into the base human themes of love and loss. It's a far cry from high art, it's very much from the dirt. That's exactly what this song is, and while she might hold off on that payoff on the rest of this album, here she comes with an explosion of noise. This is Protection.
Oh, heaven sends him down to me, and he's got everything I'll ever need. Just 16 days, and
protection. And now for something completely different. Yatka?
Yeah.
Yatka. With Oi Moros, I guess.
Yeah, which is a song, I think, from a film in Russia in like maybe the 60s or something like that.
The 60s?
Yeah, it sounds like a song that might be like traditional music almost.
Yeah.
But it comes from a composer that wrote it for a film, apparently. But I know this cover of it, and it is incredibly beautiful. So it's in Russian, but I should convey the lyrics so you can follow along and why it's a tearjerker. It's about a man who's riding a horse home, and he's talking about how he has a jealous wife waiting at home for him, and he's begging the frost not to freeze him because she's jealous, and he needs to get home for her. So like a beautiful song, the man against the elements, begging the elements to be kind to you.
Yeah, well, that I don't think I can say much more. Oh Frost, is it translated in English? So Yatka.
Мороз, не морозь меня, не морозь меня, моего коня, не морозь меня, моего коня, моего коня белогривого. У меня жена, ох, ревнивая. У меня жена, ох, ревнивая. У меня жена, раскрасавица, ждет меня домой, ждет печалица, ждет меня домой, ждет печалица. Я вернусь домой на закате дня, обниму жену, напою коня, обниму жену, напою коня.
Yeah, and I really, really wanted to have an accompanying song to this, but yeah. I'm also I do this stuff late at night, and then I couldn't find another throat singing song that was also a really sad song and that hit me. I just chose a song from the same time, but a bit more folky, and it's Bob Dylan. We had one more Bob Dylan song earlier in the show, like a few months back. But this is from his later work. It's a sentimental ballad about mortality. This is Not Dark Yet, from Time Out of Mind from 1997. And it was considered his comeback album. He said it himself. The records that were made a long time ago, so that he made in his earlier career, they were all good. They had some magic to them because the technology didn't go beyond what the artist was doing. So that's what's happening here too, because there wasn't any wasted effort, says Bob Dylan himself. So this is Not Dark Yet.
Shadows are falling, and I've been here all day. It's too hot to sleep, and time is running away. Feel like my soul has turned into steam. I've still got the scars, but the sun and near. There's not even room enough to be anywhere. It's not dark yet, but it's getting there. And my sense of humanity has gone down the drain. Behind every beautiful thing, there's been some kind of pain. She wrote me a letter, and she wrote it so kind. She put down in writing what was in her mind. I just don't see why I should even care. It's not dark yet, but it's getting there. And I've been to London, and I've been to Gay Mary. I followed the river, and I got to the sea. I've been down on the bottom of a world full of lies. I ain't looking for nothing in anyone's eyes. Sometimes my burden is more than I can bear. It's not dark yet, but it's getting there. looks like I'm moving, but I'm standing still. Every nerve in my body is so naked and numb. I can't even remember what it was I came here to get away from. Don't even hear the murmur of a brand. It's not dark yet, and it's getting there.
We're talking a lot when the music's playing, and Laura is here as well, and she's a classmate also of our Dr. Tonelli, and they were showing each other poems over here. So I thought, yeah, why don't we just get her on the mic right after a big
mic.
poet Bob Dylan? We have Laura Hesseling.
This poem is called Improvement. And I hope you like it. I obsess with the right way to write, letters spelling out how to make you all right. Wondering how to be the right bit bitter and brighter, I'd say anything to make you feel lighter. The letters too heavy in my hand, the words trembling as there they stand. Chipped nails steady, I want nothing else to leave you my mark. Remember, oh, how I bark, stressing and obsessing how to say something worthwhile. But in the meanwhile, I lie with you in bed. Thoughts buzzing in my head, fidgeting for the right thing to say. Something that won't just fly away. I want to give you something heavy and concrete. Something that would freeze a second until there was nothing else to be reckoned. I want to be your favorite quote, a paper-thin note, so you can hang on to it and float. Metaphors dangling on the rhymes like a tightrope. I want to write something that changes things. Break down all the walls and tight strings. I want not just a moment, but a movement. So move with me as I write something that needs improvement. Yet I will stay here and work through it, bit by bit. If you stay here, write with me, and tell me what your favorite part would be, and I'll write that line 1,000 times, until it becomes all you can whisper sometimes.
Woo! Very nice, Laura. Thank you very much.
And this is a great lead into the next song, because I definitely wanted to say about the next song. I wanted to highlight the structure of the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a song called "Nautical Disaster." It's by the Tragically Hip, which is like Canada's favorite sons kind of band, right? Everyone in Canada knows this band. Another tragic tearjerker element is the lead singer died of brain cancer a few years back, and had it was actually similar. We were talking about Glenn Campbell and Alzheimer's while we were listening to my mom. He was quite far along with his brain cancer when the band did their farewell tour, and so everyone knew he was sick. Everyone knew he was going to pass soon. Wow. But he mustered the energy to do one final goodbye tour, and with a lot of help from prompters, because similar to Alzheimer's, right, the kind of brain cancer he had did disrupt his ability to sort of remember lyrics and things like that. So this was a really beautiful national moment in Canada to celebrate him while he was still alive, right? Yeah. But I've always really loved their songwriting. I've always really loved his approach to words. And so this is a song about nautical disasters, and that's, it's very much part of a lot of Canadian culture too, especially out in Newfoundland on the East Coast. There's been a lot of like tragedies at sea, and so in relationship to tearjerkers, obviously that's a very sad thing. But I see you made a note here about exactly the kind of thing that I want to talk about. Let's hear what you thought of it first, and then I'll finish my thought.
Yeah, I just read down. I think it's a letter from a soldier during a beach invasion in Nazi-occupied France. That's what I read somewhere, to his girlfriend, like from the battlefield to his girlfriend. But I'm not sure. So.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that story, and I haven't thought about it from that angle. But with the way that I think about it is that most of the song is describing an actual ship going down, and there's not lifeboats enough for everyone. But then there's a moment in the song, and this is something that he does a lot. Gord Downey, the lead singer and songwriter of this song, a thing he does a lot structurally is he'll in the middle of a description about one thing kind of really switch to something else, and all of a sudden it's about a phone call between a man and a woman, and he says, anyway, Susan, if you like, our conversation is as faint a sound in my memory as those fingernails scratching on my hull. So to me, this is a song about trying to forget something that's almost impossible to forget, and it sort of counterposes. In my interpretation, maybe it's completely wrong, and maybe you're right.
No idea. I mean,
but in my interpretation, it's comparing something that went on between a man and a woman, between a couple, that it's almost like too devastating to ever forget, to ever get over, comparing that with like the devastation of actually having to leave people behind, save yourself while others drown.
Wow.
So I love how the song transitions into that moment, and the whole structure of this. And even there's a lot of songs today with these long instrumental codas, and this is another one. And here it when it's about something that you can't forget, I think it's appropriate to drag the music out in the way that it drags out at the end here. So I wanted to highlight that before we played it.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this song. I'm curious what you people at home are thinking of this. This is the Tragically Hip with a Nautical Disaster.
This dream where I relished the fray, and the screaming filled my head all day. It was as though I'd been spit here, settled into the pocket of a lighthouse on some rocky socket of the coast of France, dear. One afternoon, 4,000 men died in the water here, and 500 more were thrashing madly as parasites. Designed for 10 only.
Chemical Disaster from the album Day for Night, 1994. Alternative rock, and I also found an alternative rock song from 1995, 1 year later. It's Hum with I Hate It Too from the album You'd Prefer an Astronaut. It's anger, sadness that comes with with the ending of a relationship. Seeing all of the happiest and most joyful moments of a relationship and how it battered you up until it becomes glaringly obvious that it's not working. So this is I Hate It Too.
Ignites a twisted mess of foreign shapes and sounds. I wish the ceiling was the ground. I'll send you flowers made of silent tiny pieces of the sun to help me make up for this one. While you send me tidal waves of love when you're alone, and I can't remember what you do to find a way to turn the signal back to heaven sounding blue and bring me faithful back to you. She don't hold me right, she's never gonna get me there. And she don't hold me right, she's never gonna get me there. Not tonight.
the show is almost over. And the last two songs are both from you, because I think they are somehow related.
Yes, two versions of the same song.
Yeah, and before we go on to that, I also had an accompanying song, but I think because of time reasons, we're not going to be able to play that song, but play that at home because it's beautiful. It's Patricia Barber with "Thrill Is Gone." It's not the blues song that you know from B.B. King. It's a standard from the 30s, and it's jazzy. It's beautiful. It will also be in my Spotify playlist, so you can listen to it after. But yeah, now we go on to Sycamore Tree, or Trees. Are you a Twin Peaks fan? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing's more beautiful and devastating, right? And so, on a show about tearjerkers, I thought there's another kind of sadness, a darker, deeper kind of sadness when, a worldview you've constructed, your sense of what's real and what's not real actually falls apart, which happens for a lot of people sometimes. Right, and suddenly everything around you becomes alienating and frightening, and you've lost yourself, and maybe you've gone through ego death or something. And this music captures this, I think, right? And Twin Peaks as a series, right? David Lynch is very good at putting us in that space. So I thought another version of a tearjerker, right?
Yeah.
Another kind of approach to that idea.
Two versions, actually.
And two versions, yeah. We're going to start with Jimmy Scott, who is a jazz vocalist who got his start in the 50s as little Jimmy Scott, and he never went through male puberty because he has a condition called Kalaman syndrome. So his voice is very feminine sounding, and his phrasing, he's one of the most beautiful jazz phrasers in all of jazz vocals. It was wonderful to just see him appear suddenly in the last episode of the first Twin Peaks series. And so we'll get to hear Jimmy, but then we'll transition back to where we started and Shoo Shoo again, Shoo Shoo's cover of the same song.
Nice, beautiful round story. I guess we'll just play both after each other.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
I was just saying, this is the moment where I thank you for being here. It was amazing, important mark in my radio show history. So thank you for being here, and see you next month.
I got idea, man. You take me for a walk under the sycamore tree, the dark trees that blow, baby. In the dark trees that blow, and I'll see you, and you'll see me, and I'll see you in the branches that blow. I'll see you in the trees. I'll see you in the trees. Under the sycamore tree. and I'll see you, and you'll see me, and I'll see you in the branches that blow in the breeze. I'll see you in the trees. I'll see you in the trees. Under the sycamore tree.
Take me for a walk under the sycamore tree.
The dark tree that close pain in the dark tree at close, and I see you, and you see me, and I will see you in the branches that blow in the breeze. See you in the tree.
In the tree. Under the sycamore tree.
see you, and you see me, and I will see you in the branches. I know in the breeze. See you in the trees. See you in the trees.